Welcome viewers to the channel, Historia, and today we explore 10 legends that inspired modern movies. Part 1. The Legend of King Arthur. King Arthur, the legendary ruler of Britain, first appears in early medieval Welsh poetry and later in Geoffrey of Monmouth's 12th century chronicle. Historical scholars suggest that a real war leader may have inspired the myth, but the details of his life are largely embellished. The iconic moment of pulling the sword from the stone, recorded in Sir Thomas Malory's 1485 La Morte d'Arthur, symbolizes divine right to rule. This narrative has been adapted countless times, influencing films such as Excalibur, 1981, and King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, 2017. The enduring appeal lies in the blend of chivalry, magic, and the quest for a just kingdom. Viewers can imagine the mist-shrouded hills of Camelot, where knights gathered around a round table to discuss honor and destiny. The Arthurian legend also introduces the Knights of the Round Table, a fellowship bound by equality and shared purpose. Their quests, such as the search for the Holy Grail, have inspired narrative arcs in modern cinema, notably in The Sword in the Stone, 1963, and The Monty Python and the Holy Grail, 1975. Historical analysis links the Grail stories to medieval religious symbolism and the chivalric code. The myth's themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the rise and fall of a golden age resonate with contemporary audiences. Film adaptations often emphasize the tragic dimension of Arthur's reign, reflecting the timeless cautionary tale of power and destiny. Part 2. The Myth of Prometheus. Prometheus, a titan in Greek mythology, is celebrated for stealing fire from Olympus and gifting it to humanity, an act recorded by Hesiod in the Theogony. By defying Zeus, he enabled human progress but incurred a severe punishment. An eagle would feast on his regenerating liver each day. This myth embodies the conflict between knowledge and authority, a theme explored in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Ridley Scott's Prometheus, 2012. Scholars view Prometheus as an early symbol of scientific curiosity and the ethical dilemmas of creation. The image of fire in The Dark Knight has become a visual shorthand for enlightenment in cinema. Modern filmmakers often use the Promethean motif to question the cost of advancement. The legacy of Prometheus extends beyond ancient texts, influencing visual storytelling through recurring motifs of forbidden knowledge. In Prometheus, the alien engineers echo the Titan's role as a creator, while the film's desolate alien landscapes mirror the isolation of the punished Titan. Academic interpretations link the myth to the Enlightenment, where thinkers championed reason against oppressive institutions. Contemporary cinema often portrays the Promethean hero as a tragic figure whose ambition leads to unintended consequences. This enduring narrative invites viewers to reflect on the balance between innovation and responsibility. Part 3. The Legend of Robin Hood. Robin Hood, the outlaw hero of England's Sherwood Forest, first appears in 14th century ballads and was later chronicled by Sir Walter Scott. Historical records suggest a possible basis in real medieval outlaws who resisted feudal oppression. The core of the legend, stealing from the rich to give to the poor, has inspired countless films, from Errol Flynn's swashbuckling The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938, to the modern Robin Hood, 2010. Scholars note that the tale reflects social tensions of the late Middle Ages, especially the disparity between the aristocracy and peasantry. The iconic green attire, longbow, and merry men have become visual symbols of resistance. Contemporary adaptations often emphasize the moral complexity of rebellion, resonating with audiences seeking justice. The Robin Hood narrative also introduces the corrupt Sheriff of Nottingham, a figure embodying the abuse of power. This antagonist has been portrayed in film by actors such as Alan Rickman and Kevin Costner, highlighting the timeless conflict between authority and the common folk. Academic analysis links the legend to the concept of social banditry, where outlaws become folk heroes by challenging unjust systems. Modern retellings often place the story in varied settings, from urban environments to futuristic dystopias, demonstrating its adaptability. The legend's emphasis on community, loyalty, and moral righteousness continues to inspire filmmakers worldwide. Part 4. The Myth of Hercules. Hercules, known as Heracles in Greek tradition, is a demigod famed for his extraordinary strength and the 12 labors, chronicled by ancient authors such as Apollodorus. The first labor, slaying the Nemean lion, symbolizes the triumph of human will over seemingly invincible obstacles. This myth has been adapted into films ranging from the 1958 Hercules starring Steve Reeves to Disney's animated Hercules, 1997. Scholars interpret the labors as allegories for personal growth and the challenges of civilization. The visual motif of a hero wrestling a lion has become a cinematic shorthand for raw power. Modern retellings often explore Hercules' inner struggle between his divine heritage and mortal vulnerabilities. The later labors, such as capturing the Cyrenian hind or cleaning the Augean stables, have inspired narrative arcs in adventure cinema, where protagonists must complete seemingly impossible tasks. In the 2014 film Hercules, the hero's journey is framed as a quest for redemption, reflecting contemporary themes of accountability. Academic commentary highlights how Hercules embodies the archetype of the heroic outsider, a figure who bridges the divine and human realms. Visual representations often use vibrant colors and dynamic camera angles to convey his superhuman feats. The enduring popularity of Hercules demonstrates the timeless appeal of stories that celebrate perseverance and moral fortitude. Part 5. The Legend of Dracula. Count Dracula, introduced by Bram Stoker in his 1897 novel, draws on Eastern European folklore about vampiric entities, particularly the historical figure Vlad III Dracula of Wallachia. Stoker's research in the British Library and his use of contemporary travelogues gave the character a realistic foundation. The novel's themes of fear, sexuality, and the unknown have shaped horror cinema, most famously in the 1931 film starring Bela Lugosi and later in Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Scholars note that Dracula embodies Victorian anxieties about disease and foreign influence. The iconic image of a pale aristocrat with a cape and fangs has become a visual shorthand for the vampire genre. Modern reinterpretations continue to explore the character's tragic humanity and the allure of immortality. The cinematic legacy of Dracula extends beyond direct adaptations. The vampire archetype appears in films such as Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and Let the Right One Burn, 2008. Academic analysis links the vampire's nocturnal nature to cultural fears of the unseen and the uncontrollable. Visual storytelling often employs chiaroscuro lighting to emphasize the contrast between the vampire's seductive allure and the darkness they embody. Contemporary filmmakers reinterpret Dracula's myth to address modern concerns, such as the ethics of eternal life and the exploitation of power. The legend's persistence underscores its capacity to evolve while retaining its core symbolism of forbidden desire. Part 6. The Tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, the legendary musician of ancient Greece, is famed for his journey to the underworld to retrieve his beloved Eurydice, as recounted by Ovid in the Metamorphoses. His lyre's music was said to soften the hearts of Hades and Persephone, granting him a chance to bring Eurydice back to the living world, on the condition that he not look back. This tragic myth has inspired films such as Orpheus, 1950, by Jean Cocteau and the modern musical Hadestown, 2021. Scholars interpret the story as an allegory for artistic sacrifice and the limits of human agency. The motif of a musician confronting death resonates with contemporary narratives about the power of art to transcend mortality. Visual adaptations often depict the stark contrast between the luminous realm of the living and the shadowy underworld. Modern cinematic retellings emphasize the emotional intensity of Orpheus's choice, often using close-up shots of his anguished face as he turns toward Eurydice. Academic discourse highlights the myth's exploration of memory, loss, and the irreversible nature of time. The story structure, journey, temptation, and tragic reversal mirrors classic narrative arcs found in contemporary drama. Directors frequently employ a muted color palette for the underworld, contrasted with warm, golden tones for the mortal realm, underscoring the dichotomy of hope and despair. The legend continues to inspire creators who seek to portray the transformative power of music and love. Part 7. The Legend of Frankenstein's Monster. Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, tells the story of Victor Frankenstein, a scientist who assembles a creature from cadaveric parts and animates it through undisclosed means. The novel, rooted in the Romantic era's fascination with scientific boundaries, explores themes of creation, responsibility, and alienation. Its influence on cinema began with James Wheatley's 1931 Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, establishing the iconic image of the stitched monster. Scholars note that Shelley's work reflects contemporary anxieties about industrialization and the ethical limits of knowledge. The creature's tragic quest for identity has been reinterpreted in films such as The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, and Victor Frankenstein, 2015. Visual depictions often emphasize the contrast between the laboratory's cold, clinical environment and the creature's raw, emotive presence. The cinematic legacy of Frankenstein extends to modern reinterpretations that examine the moral implications of artificial life, such as Ex Machina, 2014. Academic analysis often frames the monster as a metaphor for the marginalized other, reflecting societal fears of the unknown. Directors use stark lighting and close UPS to convey the creature's inner turmoil and yearning for acceptance. The narrative's cautionary tone continues to influence science fiction storytelling, reminding audiences of the consequences of unchecked ambition. The visual motif of the lightning-lit laboratory remains a powerful symbol of creation and destruction. Part 8. The Myth of Icarus. The Greek myth of Icarus, son of Daedalus, recounts how the young man fashioned wings of feather and wax to escape Crete, only to fly too close to the sun and fall into the sea. Ancient sources such as Ovid's Metamorphoses portray Icarus as a cautionary figure about hubris and the limits of human aspiration. This story has inspired films like Sunshine, 2007, and the animated short Icarus, 2010, where characters pursue lofty goals despite peril. Scholars interpret the myth as an allegory for the tension between innovation and recklessness. Visual representations often juxtapose the bright, scorching sun with the fragile, melting wings, creating a striking visual metaphor. The legend continues to resonate as a symbol of daring ambition and its potential downfall. Modern cinematic adaptations often reinterpret Icarus's flight as a metaphor for artistic or scientific breakthroughs, highlighting the fine line between genius and tragedy. Academic discourse links the myth to the Renaissance pursuit of flight, exemplified by Leonardo da Vinci sketches. Directors employ slow-motion sequences and soaring aerial shots to capture the exhilaration of ascent before the inevitable descent. The story's emotional core, hope turned to loss, remains a powerful narrative device across genres. Visual storytelling frequently uses warm, amber lighting to symbolize the sun's allure and the impending doom. Part 9. The Legend of Moby-Dick. Herman Melville's 1851 novel Moby-Dick chronicles Captain Ahab's obsessive pursuit of the great white sperm whale, a narrative rooted in the real 1820 whaling voyages of the Essex. Historical records confirm that the Essex was rammed and sunk by a sperm whale, inspiring Melville's tale of vengeance and the sea's unforgiving nature. The novel's themes of obsession, fate, and man versus nature have influenced films such as Moby-Dick, 1956, and In the Heart of the Sea, 2015. Scholars view Ahab's monomaniacal quest as a reflection of 19th-century American expansionism and the era's industrial drive. Visual depictions often contrast the dark, storm-tossed ocean with the stark whiteness of the whale, creating a powerful visual dichotomy. The legend endures as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of single-minded obsession. Film adaptations often emphasize Ahab's internal struggle through close UPS of his weathered face, lit by the flickering lanterns of the ship's deck. Academic analysis highlights the novel's use of detailed cytology as a metaphor for humanity's quest for knowledge. Directors use muted, desaturated color palettes to convey the bleakness of the sea and the isolation of the crew. The narrative's exploration of destiny versus free will continue to inspire contemporary storytellers exploring themes of revenge and redemption. Visual storytelling frequently employs sweeping panoramic shots of the endless ocean to underscore the insignificance of man against nature. Part 10. The Myth of Pandora's Box. Pandora, the first woman in Greek mythology, was given a jar, later mistranslated as a box, containing all the evils of the world, according to Hesiod's Works and Days. When curiosity compelled her to open it, misfortune escaped, leaving only hope inside. This narrative has inspired cinematic works such as Pandora, 2016, and the thematic device of unintended consequences in films like Jurassic Park, 1993. Scholars interpret Pandora's story as an early exploration of human curiosity, moral responsibility, and the duality of hope amid suffering. Visual representations often depict the moment of opening with a burst of dark, swirling energy contrasted by a faint, lingering light. The myth serves as a timeless reminder of the complex outcomes of human invention. Modern filmmakers often use the Pandora motif to explore the ethical dilemmas of scientific breakthroughs, as seen in The Matrix, 1999, and the Terminator series. Academic discourse links the myth to contemporary debates about technology's double-edged nature. Directors employ close UPS of the box's intricate carvings and the protagonist's conflicted expression to convey tension. The visual contrast between shadowy chaos and the lingering light of hope creates a powerful cinematic symbol. The legend's adaptability ensures its continued relevance in narratives about discovery, risk, and the human condition.